today we've got with us the newly elected Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress, Comrade Neville Delport. Welcome, Comrade Neville, to our show. Comrade Neville is from the West Coast, but he's also a rugby fan, from what I know. He's not an All Blacks fan like some of his friends are. So I just want Comrade Neville, the Springboks won the Rugby World Cup final for the second time in a row. They'll be doing, I think they've done a parade here on Friday in Cape Town. What can you tell us? What does this victory mean to people of the Western Cape, particularly young black men and women who are involved in rugby?
No, thank you, Khalid. Thank you to all the viewers. No, I think it was a historical win for the Springboks on Saturday. Some of my friends have been crying throughout the night after losing. But I think it unites the country as a whole, white and blacks. But what does it really mean for ordinary black people in our rural towns? There's hope in our country, and I must congratulate Sia and his family. It's the second black captain who lifted the trophy. Also, our president that was present, let me also congratulate him. It means that our government cares about sport. And there's hope in our country, there's hope in our rural towns where we're exercising the sport of rugby. We've got a passion in our rural towns. And we are hopeful that the unifying mode that is out there will also culminating in making sure that all different groups can work together in sports.
Just getting a sense from the engagements that we've done. I know we were with you when we, in Kailicha, for example, we had mothers speaking about the ANC delivery in terms of basic services like housing, for example. You've had in education, you've had in the rural communities. Could maybe just tell us firstly a little bit about some of the positive gains that the ANC has made for our people?
Look, Khalid, for a poor household to wake up in the morning, I think even in the entire Western Cape, you must really applaud the ANC. Because when a child woke up, it gets into a bus or a taxi for free. That child is going to the school knowingly, the parents knowingly that there's something to eat, and they don't pay a cent. We must applaud the African National Congress and the government for that policy. Secondly, service delivery issues pertaining houses is that the ANC give budgets to the province then allocate to certain municipalities. And that is where the communities, I think, should get more involved. Because what the DAs sometimes do is to make sure that certain budgets are going directly to DA municipality, not delivering houses, but spending money on something else. And that is the problem of the DA. I think the ANC must look into that issues. If you go to Khayelitsha now and you see water, how streets are dirty compared to the CBD, people will have other picture of what the DA really is.
Most certainly, PS. And in fact, that takes us then to looking at the issue of housing. I mean, we've got the situation where, for example, now the DA, since it's been in power this particular term, let's not look at the failures since 2009, but now from 2019, they've only managed to deliver 42,000 housing opportunities in this term. Whereas the ANC's term of governance, when we governed from 2004 to 2009, we've delivered 164,000 housing opportunities. at a time. So that just shows it, PS, what you were speaking about. You've got the issue of Simmers. We would like to get your views. You've got an MEC who's the leader of the Democratic Alliance. Given this background that we've just painted, the poor housing delivery background, but he now goes and demands that the state must pay for a place that he's staying in while he owns a place very nearby and is renting it out. What are your views, PS?
Look, when you are a leader in the DA in the Western Cape, you will have all the privileges and advocate something else out there to our people. So we are waiting on a report from our MPLs and chief whips. We are going to take this issue head on. Of Summers, he's a chairperson or a leader of the DA in the province. Secondly, Comrade Khalid, the issue of housing. Look, I was born in a town, Farenstop. The first houses that were delivered there was in 2003, 2004, up till 2006 when the ANC was in power. As from there, when the DA took that ward, no houses were delivered. In Friedendal and in those areas, there's no water for 4 days. This is how the DA delivers services to our people. And my appeal to our people out there, you should really stand up now against the DA municipalities. It's been going on for 2 years where you have not water shortages. It's just something that the DA can't manage to do, is to bring enough infrastructure to make sure people have drinking water. We are also calling on our structures in the Matsikama area to stand up, convene community meetings, and to make sure that they take up the issues of the communities. You can't sit for 4 days without water. It's summer out there. Everything is stinking. People are losing everything in their household. So it's how the DAF have delivered services throughout the last 4 or 5 years in this province, and it's getting worse.
Most certainly, this is because you've got a DA that's ideological posture. Would you agree, Nobala, that the ideological posture of the DA is one that is not to involve communities, not to involve poor and especially black communities in the affairs of governance, and they favor the privileged and white communities. Would you say, Nobala, that the DA, if the people of the Western Cape continue to keep the DA in power, we feel that there, in a sense, apartheid is returning to the Western Cape and is returning to South Africa with DA control? What would you say?
Yeah, look, Khalid, we are heading towards the elections. And what we have experienced in some of our rural towns, the brutality of white farmers, white owners that owns businesses. Now, the first thing, Khalid, is that I call on the IEC and the police to make sure that all political parties have access to these farms. Farm workers are so scared. They are even threatened by white farmers to vote for the Democratic Alliance. But hopefully, the IEC and the police will arrest those farmers. That doesn't allow political parties to enter and doesn't allow farm workers to exercise their democratic right to vote for the party that they want to vote for. The DA, if people continue to vote for the DA, you must remember the DA was always against social grants. And as an ordinary person and a person that is very poor, that is dependable on social grants, they must first decide who they want to vote for and why. Because the DA maintains their policy of advancing only the few whites in different areas. And they are not looking towards our black South Africans. And unfortunately, I'm a colored, and I call on our colored people, open your eyes in the Western Cape. The DA is a party used. They are using colored people to lobby and to do the dirty work. But behind the scenes, the white masters are deciding on the policies and implementation in certain municipalities of what they must do. Even so that you can go to any municipality where the DA is in control, is the white people will have more privilege than others.
Most certainly, Secretary. In fact, even at the level of the province, if we look at the issue of crime,
Yes.
if we look at the issue of crime, the DA government has disempowered community policing forums. They've disempowered the neighborhood watches in our colored communities, in African communities. As the ANC had Bambanani, they broke down Bambanani because they knew Bambanani where communities were empowered to fight crime. Can you maybe speak to us, PS, then just at the level of crime, because our communities are feeling unsafe. You drive through, you are now in Cape Town. You go through Manenberg, you go through Mitchell's Plain, Hanover Park, Elsies River. Communities are unsafe. And this is because of the DA. Can you maybe just reflect a bit on the safety issues?
Let us be honest, the DA is spending more money in fighting crime in white areas, the CBD and those areas. In areas like Mitchell's Plain and Bonteheuwel, they don't care. They then go and blame national government. But 70 to 80% of money that JPUs and others using is to fight crime within the CBD and where their families and friends are staying. So people from Mitchell's Plain and those areas, they neglect them. Our children must become thieves. Our children must use stick. They must use drugs and everything. And they are not there to assist those people. But when it's election time, those people, they use them or give them food to vote for them. And they go and display that they care about them. They are not really care about them. For them, it's about fighting crime in the CBD and surrounding white areas. That's all what they are doing. That's why they have dislodged the Bambanani and all those effective mechanisms to fight crime.
Effective mechanisms indeed, PS, which the ANC government will bring back when we govern the Western Cape in 2024. On this thing still about the DA and the apartheid enclave, we've seen a trend, PS, and I'm sure you've seen it outside of Cape Town as well, where the DA are trying to turn the Western Cape into a white racist enclave. It ties in with the fight that they're having for the Western Cape to have certain powers which National currently has, and they want to take those and make those provincial powers. Can you just speak to us about this attitude that the DA are trying to push in the Western Cape and the need for us to oppose that?
Yeah, Khalid, it's so unfortunate that some of our people still believe they have a better life under the DA in the Western Cape. And maybe the better life is when they walk into malls here in the CBD and enjoy there. And it's not even owned by them. They don't have a privilege even to stay in the CBD. At night, they must go back to their houses where there's no electricity. Electricity is cut. There's no proper water for them. There's no proper service delivery. And gangsterism is there. Now, the call for the DA to have certain rights to control the Western Cape on its own is just mere apartheid tactic, what they did previously. And to make sure they are on top of all the economic opportunities in different towns and in the country or in the Western Cape. Now, our people, especially our colored people and black people must condemn it at all costs. We must rally behind the ANC and allow the ANC the space and opportunity to run this province. So that, because we are the party that cares about black people and our colored communities. But because they are playing this divide tactics amongst coloreds and blacks, the problem is they allow space for us not to unify the two groups. And the ANC is really going to enter that space to make sure our colored people understand what the DA tactics is. And we are exposing them on a weekly basis, daily basis, what the DA is. And for us to still believe that a white man is better than us, that narrative, we must stop it as colored and black people.
Oh, most certainly. Thank you. Thank you, PS, for that. I think very, very important point that you have raised there about the issue of the inferiority complex that they are trying to basically drill in um, uh, within our people. And I think the ANC, even in terms of some of the shortcomings that we have had, would you say that the PEC here in the province, working with the national leadership, is trying to correct some of the shortcomings which the DA can use to turn people against the ANC?
No, I mean, Khalid, we are the only party that are busy rooted out corruption in government and even in the ANC itself. Therefore, the ANC have the step aside policies and everything. The DA does not even have it. I mean, one person that was pointed out in the Zondo Commission was now just the other day defended by Ellen Windy. So the DA have never acted against their own people in the party. It's only the ANC, and I must applaud the ANC for doing that. Yes, there's some individuals in the ANC that they have corrupt practices, but the ANC is dealing with it on a daily basis. We are rooting out corruption because our resources must go to our poor people in South Africa.
Oh, certainly. PS, on that note, we speak about the fact that the ANC has started in the Western Cape on a positive trajectory, exposing the DA, giving the alternative at the national level. We are going ahead with transformation. Now, that takes us then into the upcoming voter registration weekend, I think the 18th and the 19th of November. What plans do we have in place for the voter registration weekend? What do we seek to achieve? And your message to the voters, or especially first-time voters, or people who have moved from other provinces, that we need them to register here in order to take the DA out of power. Can you talk to us a bit about voter?
Khalid, the voter registration is on the 18th and 19th. Our structures are well oiled on the ground to make sure that we engage unregistered voters throughout the last 2 months. That was our focus area. And we call on the youth in particular. We know that they are disillusioned. There's no hope for them because they are staying in the Western Cape. There will be no hope for them because it's what the DAF created for our young people is not to create enough sufficient jobs for our young people, and now our young people must steal, use drugs, and not get involved in any sport activities that keeps them away. Our young people must remember there's different ways that they can champion their issues, get involved in community organizations. Free education is there. We are calling on them. Give the ANC this opportunity in the Western Cape. Get involved in the structures in the community. ANC aligned organization. The ANC is a party. Get involved. Get involved in the ANC Youth League, and especially our colored people. Join the ANC. Get involved in the ANC. There's hope for young people in the Western Cape. I believe so, Khalid. We all have children, and children is important. But also our parents that must start getting involved in the life of our young people.
Most certainly. And parents, please do encourage your children, those who are turning 18 and who are 18 and who are not registered to vote, to register to vote. And I think it's important to to the online register. Tell us a bit about the online, because we don't want people to wait for the weekend.
No.
Tell us a bit about the online voter
Khalid,
registration
online
campaign.
registration is easy. Our volunteers on the ground have cell phones. We just need your ID, your address. We register you on the phone. It's not going to be you are waiting for 2 or 3 hours to be registered. We want people to register before the 18 and the 19, and especially those people that have come from other provinces, register in this province where you work or where you reside currently, on farms also, contract workers there, register yourself. But more specifically, I call on all our ANC leaders and branches every day, focusing on encourage people to register. That's the only way that we will beat the apartheid DA.
No, thank you very much, PS. Then on the issue of, and we've spoken about the apartheid DA. This is my second last question to you. We've spoken about the apartheid DA. We know, and we want to link this internationally. You are wearing the scarf of the Palestinian resistance and the Palestinian people. In the background of Oliver Reginald Tambo, who was an internationalist who struggled, ensured that international pressure was imposed on the apartheid regime. We see the Palestinian people, especially what's happening in Gaza, where Israelis are killing innocent people, taking on an apartheid state. Can you maybe just give us a message to the people of Cape Town, or not Cape Town, the Western Cape as a whole, around this important struggle, but also speak to the issue of the fact that the apartheid DA, supports the apartheid state of Israel? What is your message to our people?
Look, it's obviously that the ANC is in solidarity with the people of Palestine. We are praying on a daily basis. People are losing their lives there. It's not a surprise that a white apartheid liberal DA is supporting Israel. It happened to us years ago in this country. We condemn this action of the DA and even all other political parties that support Israel. America is one of those countries that are to blame for the massacre in Gaza. And we feel the pain. We will be on the streets on a daily basis supporting the Palestine.
Thank you, PS. Kan jy vir ons 'n boodskap gee, asseblief, vir die mense van die Weskaap in Afrikaans, asseblief?
Die mense van die Weskaap, die ANC was nog altyd lief vir julle. Ek wil vir julle sê die ding ruk in die ANC. Volgende jaar gaan ons na die stembus toe. En wanneer ons daai kruisie gaan maak, want die kruisie is 'n kruisie soos in 94. Dit beteken terug na apartheid. En ons weet wat dit apartheid beteken vir ons. Dis hoekom jy vandag sien, op alle pale waar die DA regeer, sê hulle, veg, kom ons staan saam, veg, registreer of veg vir Suid-Afrika. Nou dit is nie veg vir Suid-Afrika nie. Dit is veg vir hulle eie belange. Dit is dieselfde party wat ons mense se grond destyds gevat het. En ons moet niks gelos het nie. As jy 'n kiezer is vandag, moet u 'n besluit neem nou. U kinders is afhanklik van 'n kindertoelaag. U kinders is afhanklik van 'n grant van government. Ons is die enigste party wat huise gratis gee. Ons is die enigste party wat gratis dienste gee by klinieke. Ons is die enigste party wat voedselskemas gee. En ons is die enigste party wat ten minste free education gee. So wanneer u daai kruisie gaan maak, moet u kruisie by die ANC wees en niks anders nie. Ons het genoeg swaar gekry onder die DA in die Weskaap, en die DA het nog net die belange van 'n sekere wit elite bevorder. So, ons is baie excited gelied oor volgende jaar. Ons gaan hard werk, ons gaan nie even Kersfees hou nie. So hard gaan ons werk. Baie dankie.